Of all the money that e'er I had, I spent it in good company. And all the harm that e'er I've done, alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fell to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. Oh, all the comrades that e'er I had, they're sorry for my going away. And all the sweethearts that e'er I've loved, they'd wished me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should, I'll gently rise and softly call. Good night and joy be with you all. Good night and joy be with you all.
Take a look around lively old London, buzzing crowds, we sweat and we revel, red-cheeked shouts and songs in the flicker of the gaslight. Eager blighty bursts from the cobblestones, racing, climbing, blooming fertility, born from secret seeds that are scattered in the night time. London is fed upon the meat of the dead. They're one shallow inch below the town. Underground, underground, leave them underground. Them that whispered dreams that only poisoned us, them that told us lies of their bravery, them that preached of progress and put us in the poorhouse, them done horrid murder on bloody stages, them that loudly crowed their humility, lords and dames that sung in the chapels on a Sunday. All quiet now, their mouths are stopped up by mud. They lie flung in rags and make no sound. Underground, underground, leave them underground. Those who fought for something better, those who taught by how they lived, loved ones taken long before their work was done. Underground, underground, leave them underground. Underground, underground, leave them underground.
We're back. It's just about that time, ladies and gents. I want to first of all apologize for this taking so freaking long. Talk Gaming used to be a weekly show, and then it wasn't for quite a period. But we're back. We're back. We're gonna get back into it. The main reason, as I said before, was that I like in the place I was living, my landlord, he kept going back into like the box where all of the like coax cables from the pole and everything come in, and they have locks on that, right? Which is what the internet service company puts on there so you can't alter it or steal your like neighbor's internet and all of that. He broke that seal and like started siphoning off internet, and then like he didn't know how to do it, so he broke it and it caused a bunch of issues. Like it was a problem. But now I'm in a new place. Quite clearly, we have padded walls because I'm insane and things are ready to go. I've also decided to take YouTube much more seriously. So I've decided I'm going to start wearing sunglasses in the middle of videos and drinking during the daytime. And yes, this is a banana flask because that will make it more professional, right? I mean, all the biggest YouTubers tend to be weirdos. So I figured this would help, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. And yes, I'm wearing a Super Mario Brothers 3 whatever shirt. I've never played it. Secret right there. Coffee, yes, as always, we have coffee. And this time it's in a thermos because I figured why get hot coffee and then have it go cold? That doesn't make any sense. Jake's Larzl says, yo, you're back. Here's some money. Thank you, my friend. Jake's starting us off right with $5 right there. That's awesome. Yeah, and then we start stripping. That's how we do it. So for those of you also, before we jump into this, if you want to listen to the show on the go, we are on iTunes. We are on Podbean, where you can actually download the show out onto like an MP3 and take it wherever you would prefer. So if you want to listen to it on the go, check the links downstairs. You can check those out, and it's pretty Gucci. And yes, we have Jaeger in the background for those of you who are astute, because that's the man's alcohol. We're not going to put like Bud Light back there because I don't think I need to say. Anyway, but we got a lot of good topics today. Like in general, I just want to get this out of the way before we jump into it. Bethesda is going to come up a couple of times over the course of this episode, and that's mainly just because like they've been doing a lot of good stuff and bad stuff and then awesome stuff and terrible stuff. Like they just keep going back and forth and winning and losing, winning and losing. And so I figured we just should talk about it. We should point it out. I don't like talking about Bethesda exclusively. I tried actually, and I do want to say this, I did try to make a video responding to the Rockstar new trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2, the gameplay trailer, but after putting it together and rendering it and putting it out, uploading it, Rockstar actually claimed it before I could publish it. So effectively, I think they said that they were going to take the audio out for that segment of the video. So they were going to like basically take 4 minutes of audio just out. So you'd be watching the video and then for 4 minutes there would be no sound. So I just said, you know what? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not allowing that to happen. So we have, it's tough. We're going to talk about Red Dead Redemption 2 today. I've done weird stuff like flipping the video and changing the contrast. Hopefully it doesn't get struck. But if it does, worst case scenario, you just watch this or listen to this as a podcast. Can't hurt, right? But the first topic we should jump into, because we're here and we are ready to go. Oh, the chat hasn't sunk up yet. Let me jump back to the webcam. I'm going to take this live chat. We're going to go back here, and then I'm going to delete that and paste a new one. There you go. Look at that on the fly. We are pros. We are professionals through and through. Here we go. So good number of things to reference. This first one is once again a Bethesda story. They say that the situation could be fairly dire if Sony disallows the Elder Scrolls crossplay, and what this is referring to is effectively Elder Scrolls Legends which is a game. It's like a card game, sort of their version of Hearthstone. They released it on PC. This is apparently a trailer for it. Make of that what you will. But they effectively said they're bringing this game to consoles, but they need crossplay to be supported in order for the game to come and have any chance at success. Now, this initially seems like, oh, pro-consumer, yeah, they're backing up and they're helping. Oh, that's weird. They're helping out like consumers. They want to make sure that we have crossplay. They want Sony to stop it because Sony's the only company that's really still dragging their feet with crossplay, meaning that you can play on Xbox with your PS4 friends, PS4 friends with your Switch friends and PC friends, and it all works together. And after all, it's not like we're dependent on Sony servers. They're doing it all through Bethesda Net, so it shouldn't matter at the end of the day. But nonetheless, Sony has blocked it. So with that being said, Pete Hines said if they're going to release it, they need crossplay supported. Now this, I think it's important that we be fully transparent here. Let's just be honest. Elder Scrolls Legends is not a wildly popular game. If you look up the Steam charts numbers, because I did that right before the show, currently, even with Elder Scrolls Legends in the news and everybody talking about it as a result of the story, even with that helping it out, it fluctuates between usually just under 2,000 concurrent players at its peak down to 800 players. Now, that's no Battleborn. Like, it could be much, much worse, but it's still not good. This is not a sleeper hit. This isn't like Bethesda saying we're not releasing any Fallout games or Starfield or Elder Scrolls 6 on the console on PS4 until you support crossplay. They're not saying anything like that. They're saying that, okay, we're not going to bring over this very vague and not incredibly popular game to your console. I don't think it's going to push Sony's hand. If it did, I'd be shocked if Sony did something as a result of this. It's not a big enough game to warrant it. It is weird that Sony is still putting up a fight over crossplay, because to be honest, like, normally these types of business practices, I can usually figure out what they're referring to, why they're saying one thing over the other. But with crossplay on Sony's side, I really don't get it. I think it's just that they're trying to maintain their brand and they want to make sure that any sort of exclusivity that they have, they maintain. And that's understandable because they are the kings of exclusivity. But in this case, I don't see how it actually helps them. I don't think anybody's going, oh, well, I'm going to go buy a PS4 because it doesn't support crossplay. I think if anything, that's turning people off to it. And so people are buying Xboxes and One X's and PCs because they know that they can play with more people that way. So I don't actually think it's helping them. I think it's actually causing more issues than not. So as for like the like mobile versus PC side of things, yes, mobile games for Bethesda have been suspiciously and like weirdly popular. There's just news that Fallout Shelter is going to be getting an online version. It's launching initially in China, and then after that, it's apparently moving over to the States. I don't know if that's been completely verified, but that was a story that was going around. So who knows? Who knows? And maybe it's going to end up being a thing, but it's something that people are apparently looking into. So for Bethesda, they just acquired another studio in Dallas that has experience with mobile games, and I think they're just going to have Montreal and this Bethesda Game Studios Dallas working on their mobile titles completely. Like, I'm all for it. You know, more games, the better. Like, the more the merrier. And if anything, it just means that Bethesda is going to have a constant inflow of cash coming while they develop games like Starfield and Elder Scrolls 6. I don't think that they necessarily need that, but at the very least, it's good that they have something along those lines. I haven't played Blades yet. If anyone here has had the chance, let me know. I'm interested to see what you think of it. I haven't played it. It seems kind of fun and campy. I'm not sure if it would be like something I would lose a ton of time to, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But that's the first thing. They are saying that they might not bring Elder Scrolls Legends to PS4 because crossplay, effectively. That's really the only thing to write home about on this particular article. On the other side of things, a bunch of these posters have been posted around New York City, East Houston and Lafayette in NYC. This was from Tom Caswell, who took these pictures. And basically it looks like there's just a bunch of pictures from the main cast all around, with pre-order now signage all around. And I mean, it looks pretty good. Like, I'm all for it. I'm not sure if he had other pictures. I don't know. Oh, there it is. Right here. That's it. So, like, that's kind of cool. That's cool. We're going to start to see a lot of this as we get closer to the game's release. I like, to be honest, I think the game looks really intriguing and exciting. I'm open to it. I don't know if it's going to be like, you know, the game we all hope that it will be, but at the very least, I think it's going to be a good game. And if hype is to be believed, I think it's going to be not a sleeper hit. I think it's just going to be a hit because it's Rockstar and everything they do seems to turn gold. So if we slide over, I think we also should talk about, yeah, Fallout 76's was bigger. It was, but it also wasn't in New York, which is probably why. If we look here, this is the gameplay trailer. Let me back all the way up. I mirrored it and then I changed the contrast, so hopefully they don't automatically remove it from YouTube, but we'll see. I guess we'll find out the hard way. The big thing with this, as with all Rockstar games, seems to be the world building and the phenomenal animation work. If you look at all of just the slight movements, the realistic birds, like, the one thing Rockstar has always been phenomenal at is the animation. Actually changing what is a static mesh into something that's lifelike, and doing that for everything in the scene. So everybody, even back at the back of the street, everybody who's walking, crossing their arms, everything looks realistic. And that's part of what lends itself to the believability, the realism. Everything is working congruently, which is not easy to pull off, especially when you're doing a lot of the graphic things that this game is apparently going to be doing. The faces, I wouldn't say it's necessarily lifelike. I'd say more than anything, it seems to be more of a... it's not quite cartoon. It has a definite art style. Like, it's not going for photorealistic, at least not in terms of the people, but in terms of the landscapes. I mean, look at that. It's ridiculous. It's just phenomenal. Apparently all of this, I heard from a couple people, apparently all of this is running off of the PS4 Pro. I don't know why they chose the PS4 Pro. It seems like they should have done the One X, because that tends to have more power in it, but whatever. If they're running it off the Pro, who cares? And it's set in a really interesting time when, you know, the West is on its way out and the East is coming. And whether you view it as infiltrating, corrupting the Wild West, or taming it and civilizing it, that's the word. Either way, it's a really fascinating time to place a video game, and especially characters like this. Because, like, if you think about it, back in that time, if you're just like a dude in your 30s or 40s, you're about halfway through your life, and all of a sudden everything is changing. You're going from riding horses around a countryside, you know, shooting your dinner with a rifle or a bow and arrow, skinning it and cooking it up, and then all of a sudden comes a steam engine train coming, and they have all of these crazy innovations. Electricity's becoming popularized. They're starting to put light bulbs in your average everyday place. It's just fascinating, and it's a really cool time to set a game. I'm really intrigued to see how they handle it, because the one thing Rockstar's always done very well, in addition to animation, is how they design their worlds in a very believable way, and how they are able to have an interesting commentary on the game at the same time, or on the world at the same time. Whether it's in Grand Theft Auto, where you're looking at the world and how they can insert this commentary on their like the setting of Americana, of our worship of pop culture, all of these things. Or if it's in something that they publish, like LA Noire, which they didn't even necessarily develop in the same way that they're developing this, but they still have this really unique take on it. And That's what I love Rockstar for more than anything, is that they can build a world and you believe that it's legitimate. Now that tech is getting to the point where you can build a believable world and there are no limitations, there's nothing that's holding it back, that's pretty ridiculous. And like, if this is what this game looks like this is Rockstar's first game on modern gen consoles, so next gen consoles, as we would say. It's reasonable to expect that whatever their next game is, whether it's like that agent game that they were talking about doing that apparently is still in the works deep down in their system, or if it's the next Grand Theft Auto game, whatever it may be, it does look as though it's going to be on next generation consoles in like 2 years or so, 2-3 years, which if this is what it's looking like and running like on a PS4 Pro, and presumably on an Xbox One S and X and regular PS4 Slim, just imagine what they're going to be able to do in just a few years. I can't even imagine. As for like the elephant in the room, a PC port, it's been discussed apparently. It's been in the works, but like with Grand Theft Auto, or the original Red Dead Redemption rather, it was supposed to come to PC, but it just... like what the developers have been saying is that it's just never happened. Like it just never really took place. Who knows? Like they were working on DLC. Same thing with the single player DLC for Grand Theft Auto 5. It was supposed to happen. It just never did. They just kept getting caught up with the online stuff, and eventually they just stopped because people kind of stopped asking for it. Everyone who was playing Grand Theft Auto 5 was playing the online stuff. So, you know, who really cares? Why would they invest all that time and money into it? So hopefully they do bring this over to PC, because can you imagine what this would look like running natively at 60 FPS and 4K on a nice high-end PC pushing high dynamic range? Like, holy crap, I can't even fathom. And hopefully they do that. I really hope they do, and a lot of other people hope that they do as well. It's just a matter of whether or not they feel it's worth the investment, especially because, I mean, Grand Theft Auto 5 is currently the, like, in the history of mankind, it is generating more revenue than any other piece of media content ever. And that's ridiculous. Neat Sarah asks, Luke, your last video was 4K. The last few have been in 4K. Yes, not many people are able to watch it in 4K. A lot of it, like, for instance, if you're watching a video where I'm using gameplay from, like, I don't know, a game that runs in 1080p, or like a Dishonored or Batman Arkham Asylum, you can run that in 4K. But if the footage is in 1080p, what I do is I tend to do a 2K upscaled master. And the benefit for the viewer is that you get a higher bit rate. The audio quality jumps up significantly. The weird like striations and shadows and in color banding, it's completely gone. So I recommend watching in 4K, even if you don't have a 4K like TV or monitor or phone. It does make a real difference. And yes, I said Dishonored. Dun dun dun. Who knows? As for our next, yeah, I'm gonna slide right past that. I'm gonna leave that in the dust. I wonder what Luke meant by that. That was weird. What could he possibly mean? Rage 2 won't support mods at launch, but may in the future. I don't know. I haven't really heard anyone talk about how they're demanding mods. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. It doesn't seem to be a major concern, though. It tends to be a Bethesda Game Studios thing, but nonetheless, if they bring mods to it, cool. I wasn't expecting them at launch, but nonetheless, that is something that they have come out and said. This was kind of cool. Assassin's Creed Odyssey will be, quote, much longer than Assassin's Creed Origins. And the question that PC Gamer is raising is whether or not it should be. Because with Assassin's Creed Origins, we were looking at about a 20 to 25 hour total turnaround time for the main story, which was pretty cool. And then I got like another 10, 15 hours out of the DLC. So all told, I was done with everything in about 40 hours, pretty much completely leveled up, like to a ridiculous level, had all sorts of equipment that was end game, like it just got ridiculous. So being that the game is apparently going to be much longer, I mean, we're talking, I'd have to imagine if much like when I say much longer in this context, I would probably be referring to double, if not more than that. I wouldn't say like, yes, our original game was 10 hours. This one's much longer at 12. Like I would imagine that is referring to double, if not more. So I'm open to it. This, like the classic issue with Ubisoft games and being much longer is that they tend to just be filled with all sorts of stuff. So the classic saying is, you know, a mile wide but an inch deep, just like an ocean that's only an inch deep. There's technically a lot there, but when you get down in the nitty gritty, it's not actually full. So yeah, with fast traveling, it's 9 hours. So we'll see what happens. I'm intrigued. Branching narratives. My guess is there's only 2 or 3 main branches that they've taken into consideration. It'll probably end up being like a Life is Strange sort of thing, where no matter what you do, you end up in one of 2 categories. But we'll see. I'm open to it. Even if it does end up just being 25 hours, I'd be fine with that. Getting to explore Greece for 25 hours is more than enough for me. If anything, like the tendency is that it can really get drawn out if you go longer than that, unless you're like a Witcher 3 or you're a game that's able to sustain that load of player commitment, which hopefully, like, knock on fake wood, it's like particle board. It's like a particle board desk. Well, it's weird. It's like the wood laminate, but then there's like condensed particle board, so it's not actual wood. So it's, I guess it's fake wood. Knock on fake wood. I hope that it's awesome. I hope that the game is amazing, but we'll see. It's worrying a lot of people that the game is coming out, you know, within a year of Origins. That was always going to be the case. I've said this many times before. Ashraf Ismail, the director of Origins, said that multiple times. He said the plan was always to release in 2017. We didn't push it back because of Unity. We didn't do anything like that. The plan was to have the movie be the title for 2016, and then after that, you know, move on. So, you know, I'm open to it. Marvin Mick asks, are you going to watch McGregor versus Nurmagomedov? I like probably not on the day. I'm kind of ticked at McGregor, to be honest. I don't like. Here's the thing. I've always said yeah, bear in mind, everybody, if you see the mods, the people with the gears making fun of each other, it's okay. They're all from the Discord. We all hang out together, and we have known each other for, at this point, years. So it's not actually hurtful. We're just goofing around. But with this said, I want to make this clear. I'm a person who doesn't like being told what you should or shouldn't like, right? So I hate Meryl Streep because everyone says that I should love Meryl Streep. So when I watch like a movie like Mamma Mia, for instance, I look at that and I say, everyone's saying Meryl Streep is amazing, and this movie's amazing because Meryl Streep is so great in it. And then I watch her and she's wearing like her overalls, and she's like, oh, I'm working so hard because I'm Meryl Streep, and oh, I'm gonna whip my hair out of my face because I'm Meryl Streep, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna sing these songs because I'm Meryl Streep. That's like, I don't like that. Oprah, same thing. Oprah's a lovely lady. Like, I should have no reason to dislike her other than that everyone tells me I should like her. So that makes me not like her. I'm more of a contrarian than anything else. But at least I know I'm a contrarian, I suppose. So like, it could be worse, right? It could be worse. As for what were we initially talking? Oh, McGregor. McGregor was just one of those things. He was such a jerk for like 2 years. And I don't like being taken advantage of as like a fan of the sport. So I was like, I don't want to get all invested in like him throwing a dolly through a bus window if it's not actually, like, I watch him because he's a fun fighter to watch. I don't watch him because I care about what he's doing in his personal life. I'm sure the guy's like high on coke 95% of the time. I don't really care. Yeah. I hate Oprah. I hate Meryl Streep. Does that mean I'm contrarian too, or am I just being assertive towards hype? I don't know. Perhaps. Let's see. Maxificent says direct your dislike towards people telling you to like something, not towards the thing they're telling you like. That's called spite. Yes, that's a very real and worthy observation. Yeah, no, like I'm well aware, like Meryl Streep, obviously she's done, and she's had a great career. Oprah is like the pinnacle of what every person should hope to be, a self-made billionaire. Like that's ridiculous. But yeah, no, I'm just like, I'm not going to be like fanboying over McGregor because everyone's like, McGregor is so great. I'm just like, well, yeah, he's a good fighter, but he took 2 years off after making probably around $100 million off of Mayweather. And so at that point, I'm like, well, you're avoiding all of the real tough competition in Nurmagomedov and rematches here and there. It's like, come on. I want to watch you fight. I don't want to watch you, go on the news and make fun of people. If like GSP versus McGregor would be hilarious, but GSP I think is way, way bigger. So who knows? Hello everybody. Hello everyone who's new and just came in during that rant. Yeah, am I self-made? I got a small loan of $1 million. Probably. If you can turn $1 million into several billion without screwing it up after opening casinos, you're probably still either incredibly lucky or at least somewhat what you're doing in terms of branding. Because holy crap, like it's tough to compound that much money into that much money, even still. As for, this was what I was gonna pull up. This was just funny that people found this so annoying and offensive. Assassin's Creed Origin or Odyssey won't let you play in Greek. It doesn't support a Greek language change. So if you want to play the game in Greek, like you watch like The Witcher 3 in Polish, a lot of people say that's the only way that you should like play the game. Apparently you can't because it's not there. It's not an option. Just like you couldn't play Origins in like ancient Egyptian, they're not going to support Greek. So whatever. This Pete Hines explains why Bethesda blocked the resale of a sealed copy of The Evil Within 2. I made a video about this. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm not going to reiterate the whole thing. I encourage you to go watch it. The people that did watch it said that it cleared up the confusion. Because, like, this is the thing, and I'm going to be completely honest and upfront. Maybe I'm going to get in trouble for this. I don't really care. A lot of YouTubers nowadays tend to be very, very reactionary, and they tend to jump on the train whenever something happens just because of the views. So, without naming any names, there's a lot of YouTubers who looked at this story and blew it up as Bethesda being incredibly anti-consumer, Bethesda being horrible, Bethesda going and starting their masquerade against freedom of individuals to sell their property, when in reality they had no idea what they were talking about. They had no idea what this case even was really about. And like at its core, this is a story about a dude who tried to sell a copy of a game as brand new when it wasn't new. He had previously owned it. They told him to redo it as a pre-owned copy, because when people buy something new, they expect it to have certain standards. And the guy blew this whole thing out of proportion, approached all sorts of gaming publications to try to blow it out of proportion. It looks like he may have even gotten payments from some of these news organizations. So the guy actually like benefited off of this, allegedly. Like, it's not clear. A lot of people, there's a lot of conflicting information back and forth. So he allegedly profited off of turning this into a whole big story. But like, it's just tough to see. It's tough to figure out exactly what happened. But basically, at the core, Bethesda was right in this case. They didn't do anything wrong. They told a guy to not sell a game as new, even though like it looked new. But looking new and being basically new is not new. It was previously owned by another party. So I don't think it was something that Bethesda should have gotten involved with. I think it was a waste of their time. But nonetheless, it did turn into a massive thing. So whenever you see this sort of thing from a YouTuber, put on like your skeptical hippo glasses, read it, like take it with a grain of salt, because in general, for YouTubers, coming from a YouTuber telling viewers straight up, it's popular and it's easy to make content hopping on a hype train or a frustration train or hate train, whatever it may be. So you see a game that's got some issues here and there, and then it blows out of proportion. We all made negative videos about Mass Effect Andromeda because that's what was getting the views. That's what everybody found interesting. That's what everyone was talking about. So whatever it is. Let's see. Chris says, do you think Amazon should have a way of only letting authorized resellers sell on their website? Like you have to type a code to say Bethesda, ZeniMax, e.g. allow them to sell the copy. Well, like basically any third party can sell on Amazon, right? So if you go on Amazon and you check in the fine print, you can see if it's sold and shipped by Amazon, sold and shipped by Sony, sold and shipped by Bethesda Softworks, sold and shipped by Joe Schmo of, you know, Milwaukee. You can see all of these things just by looking at the fine print. And so that doesn't necessarily stop you, but the issue was that this game was being put in the same like tier, the same column as the games that were sold by Bethesda Game Studios, by like the official resellers. So they didn't like that. They said, okay, you need to stop that because people are going to be buying this game thinking that it's the same product when it's technically not, which is what like the fair or the for sale doctrine is referring to. It's not the same product. It's a piece of software that loses value once it's initially purchased, just like if you buy a car, it loses value the instant that you purchase it. So it's not the same copy. So their frustration was that it was put in the same category. They asked it to be moved to a different category where it would be sold more representatively of what it actually was, and it just wasn't. Let's see, if something is sold by a third party but is fulfilled by Amazon, that means they guarantee the refund return policy that they have with the first party products. Yes, but that's something Amazon does through Amazon. It's not something that Bethesda would strictly honor. So like if it's sold by Joe Schmo from Milwaukee but fulfilled by Amazon, even though that like it wouldn't happen on a single person level, it would be like a larger company, because I believe you have to have a company established in order to be fulfilled by Amazon. But because like it basically means that your product is in Amazon warehouses and then they load it up instead of you packing it up in a box and then you shipping it out. So SG response, wait, does that mean when I buy a game at a store it's technically pre-owned as well? Well, no, because they're authorized resellers. So you buy it from Target, you buy it from like sold and shipped by Amazon, you buy it from like officially Amazon, you buy it from Best Buy, you buy it from GameStop New, whatever that is. You're buying an authorized copy where Bethesda has signed a piece of paper that says we will support this product through you because you're authorized to sell it. Whereas if you buy a used copy, yes, it has certain guarantees through GameStop, but it's only guaranteed through GameStop. If you approach Bethesda about that, they're not going to do anything because that's just what it is. So it's complicated, I grant you, but it's by no means like the end of the world, and it's by no means a reason to be incredibly upset, which is why when I saw a lot of YouTubers going off on this, I was like, really, is this what we're doing now? And even like when I put out a video saying, I don't really like Bethesda necessarily. I think that they screw a lot of stuff up, and I love bashing Bethesda any chance I can, but this is not a big deal, and this really isn't something you should be upset about. I even got like immediate like dislikes. There were like 20 people who immediately unsubscribed just because they saw that I wasn't bashing. Like, it happens, I get it, but we need to not be so fickle, because we can do better, and we have to be honest and upfront, because if we bash Bethesda when they do something wrong and then we continue bashing them when they haven't done anything wrong, it doesn't mean anything. Exactly, it's a non-starter. The story is a non-starter. They have also confirmed that Fallout 76's perk cards can't be bought with real money. Now, they do leave a little bit of wiggle room in this, which is what I hazard everyone against. Basically, you can't buy perk cards with real money, but they leave the door open to buy currency with real money, which could potentially, or buy like clothing items and those like cosmetic items for real money that could then be sold for caps, and then in turn those caps be used to get physical benefit or gameplay benefit within the game. So for instance, like you spend money on cosmetic items like certain outfits or something, you run across another person through the wasteland, you sell that to them for 3,000 caps because you spent money. Therefore, you can then use those 3,000 caps to then boost your, like to go buy a rocket launcher or buy materials you need. So like it causes a lot of issues. I think that like the thing we just have to accept, I don't think there's any way, like the only way that they could completely avoid any sort of pay to win or pay to influence your winning chances, the only way to avoid that would be if they straight up just made it so, yes, you can buy cosmetic items that are like paint skins on clothing that you have. And that's why it's been a little unclear, because you can buy cosmetic items through actual money, but it's not clear if that's just like a color code, if that's a customization option that can't be transferred to other people, if items that you buy with real money cannot be transferred to other players. That's what I would do. Like that seems to be the simplest solution. So SG response, so in essence, you can't buy item X with real money, but you can buy item X with currency Y, which can be bought with money. So in essence, what they said was BS. That's like, I don't want to straight up say that because we aren't sure quite yet, but it's very possible that is correct. It's just a matter of whether or not they shut the gate on being able to resell items that you purchased with real money. Because if I go into the game and I spend $20 on a custom outfit, like a custom version of a power armor, for instance, and then I run across a guy who says, I really like that, I'll give you 15,000 caps for that outfit. If I'm allowed to sell that outfit, I just paid basically $20 for 15,000 caps. So then I use the 15,000 caps to achieve material benefit within the game. That is a real, like that would fall under pay to win, or at the very least pay to effect a win. How they could fix that outright is by just saying any item that you pay like $20 for, that version of super armor or a power armor, super armor, wow, power armor, you could not use or trade. It's locked to your character permanently. So you can't buy something and then sell it to somebody else. That could also create like issues in and of itself, but you know, it's just hard to tell because so much of this, they've even been upfront and said, we're not sure, we don't know quite yet, it might be fixed, it might use this type of thing, it might use this type of thing, but whatever, it's just unknown, and they're still tweaking it. The game apparently has been done for like 8 months or something, like right around the time of like they were finalizing the demo for E3. They were apparently done with game, and now they've just been balancing and trying to figure out how many players they should let into a server, what type of pay promotions or whatever things they should do. They were trying to figure out all of this stuff, and I'm not sure how that's going to work out. I think the launch is going to be one of the worst launches of the year. I think it's going to crash and burn, and then I think they're going to see an uptick, and I think it's going to get more and more popular, and eventually I think it'll be a really good game and a fun multiplayer game, co-op game. You know, I'm optimistic. I would love for the game to be phenomenal and amazing, but we'll just have to see. Like, it's just, it breaks your brain. You can't stress about it too much, because if you stress about it too much, then you just get sad. And that's no fun. If we go back over here, EA's Patrick Sutherland steps down. The chief design officer will be leaving the company later this year. They basically just announced this. There's been no clear reason as to why this has been the case. In an open letter titled "An Update on Our Creative Leadership," EA CEO Andrew Wilson paid tribute to Sutherland's impact on the company over the past 2 decades by saying, quote, "Patrick has been a trusted business partner and a great friend, and his inspiring leadership has had an outstanding impact on EA. As an integral part of the management team for many years, including as head of worldwide studios and most recently chief design officer, he's been an agent of change and transformation. Formerly CEO of DICE, Sutherland joined EA's executive board after it acquisitioned the Swedish studio DICE in 2006. He played a key role in the spread of DICE's powerful Frostbite engine across the company, with it becoming the technological basis for games like Dragon Age Inquisition and Mass Effect Andromeda. That worked out quite well. Wilson further stated that EA will undergo some reorganization in preparation for Sutherland's departure. The OC'd team, led by Johan Andersson, will join our studios group to continue driving advanced design and innovation at the leading edge of games. He added, with new games and content playing a vital role in our networked future, the EA Originals and EA partner teams, led by Robert Letts, will join our strategic growth group. End quote. No information was offered regarding Sutherland's planned destination, but it's undoubtedly representative of a loss for EA, a substantial loss given how integral DICE's technology has become to the company as a whole. Wilson signed off by thanking Sutherland for his contributions. He will always be part of our EA family, and thank you all for leading us forward. End quote. So, who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I know. Isn't this cool? Isn't this a good ad? They know me. They know me. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why he's leaving. I don't know if there's a good reason for his departure. I don't know if it's just because he's bored. I don't know if it's because he wants to form his own studio again. You really can't tell. It might just be that he's like got enough money at this point where he can kind of retire and just focus on other stuff. Who knows? I mean, if you're the CDO, Chief Design Officer, so the CDO of Electronic Arts, you're probably making a good chunk of change, and he's probably accumulated a good chunk of change over the last few years. So, I guess we'll just see. I don't know. Maybe we'll get more news and more clarification as we go forward on why he's stepping down, why he's left. But we'll just we'll have to see. And this one I find interesting, so I'm going to bring it up here because this was something we talked about earlier. The Dishonored series is taking a break. This was a result of an interview that came out of QuakeCon between, let's see, lead designer Ricardo Barre, or Bar, whatever, and VG247. When asked about Dishonored, what they said was, quote, I can't say definitively what might happen down the road. Anything could happen, but Dishonored is resting for now. The things that are important to us as a studio are coherent, deep world building and environmental storytelling. We're always going to craft spaces that you feel like you're visiting, whether it's Dunwall or Talos 1, he continued. It's just as important a character as the player, or the player you meet. Then it's improvisational gameplay, giving players a bunch of cool abilities and tools, then saying, you figured out, you be creative, you own the experience. Dishonored 2 was followed by a standalone expansion called The Death of the Outsider in 2017, which seemingly wrapped up the series' Caldwin era in a neat bow. The only disappointing thing you can really say about Dishonored 2 is that it released during a very busy schedule and perhaps did not receive the attention it deserved from Joe Public. Still, fingers crossed for Dishonored 3 in a few years. This is a very pertinent point. It did launch in a very crowded period, and apparently, or at the time, the PC port on launch was very, very broken. It had a lot of issues. A lot of people freaked out about it. If you remember back to those days, and then it got fixed, and like it was fine. There were no issues. But once again, that was the time when everybody jumped on the bandwagon and kind of freaked out about it. So, you know, what are you going to do? But they are putting it on hold. I mean, I'm optimistic. I hope that they come out with a new IP and they just double down. They might be trying like another Prey type thing. We'll just have to see. But yeah. Neat says, I remember you making a video about Dishonored 2 being broken, and I didn't know what the game was really. Yeah, no, I remember making that video as well. Yeah. So yeah, that was at a time when everybody was just jumping on the bandwagon of hate Bethesda. People were ticked off still about Fallout 4, and it had gotten very popular to start bashing them. So that was like the pinnacle. Like it says, it was bad on Xbox as well. I got it the day it came out, but the bugs were insane. The camera would move 2 seconds after I moved the analog stick. Oh, that sucks. That's too bad. Yeah, well, I mean, it was a game that had a lot of potential, especially because the big thing with the original, and you may hear me talk about this more in depth in the future, was basically just that, like, it's solid, it's awesome, everybody loves it, but there's not a lot of it. It seems like the whole game is the first act of what the game should be. So you're playing through the game, and then right as it ends, you're like, oh, okay. Well, that was fun. I'll go back and try it again with different paths or whatever. But like, okay, I could have played that for a little bit longer. But what are you gonna do? It was a fun game. So, you know, it's too bad that they're putting it on ice because, like, I think it's a game that really could benefit from some more attention, or a series that could benefit from some more attention. But you know, what are you gonna do? It's Bethesda. That's just what it is. It's what it is. And last news topic of the day is Nintendo Switch online service announced. They gave pricing details and all of that. So basically what this is they outline individual memberships and then family memberships, which, like for this, a Nintendo account holder may invite up to 7 others to join a family group. All members of the group will have access to Nintendo Switch Online, and that costs $34.99 for a year. And then for an individual, it's $4 for a month, $8 for 3 months, or $20 for a year. So, like, that's pretty cool. Like, there's not a whole lot to say about it. It's cheaper than all of the others, like PlayStation Now and Xbox Live, where they're usually around $60 for a year. At the same time, like, Nintendo doesn't have a whole lot of games that have taken advantage of this, but at the same time, there hasn't been a whole lot of games to take advantage of online content because they don't have, like, an online service. So it's kind of like the chicken and the egg. Are people not developing online games for it because there's no online servers and support? And that's what I would probably say. Or like, are they adding, like, it's just, they're kind of at a standstill. They're at a standstill. And I hope that this fixes it and we get some more games. More than anything though, like, the Joy-Cons are not super comfortable for online gaming, and even when you're not using the Joy-Cons and you're using like the Pro Controller, there's a very slight amount of lag. So I don't think it's ever going to be like a competitive gaming system, but it would be nice to be able to sit down and play competitive games online against each other, all on your Switch, no matter where you are or where you go. That would be pretty cool. And I hope that they can continue that, even with a $20 for a year membership. So we'll see. I'm surprised it's this cheap. I was expecting it to be a little bit more. I was expecting probably like $40-50 a month, but we'll just have to see. Smash Ultimate will be competitive. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Maxificent says, if you buy a subscription, they should send you a free Pro Controller because its shelf price is extortion. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, no, the Pro Controller is very expensive, and all of the accessories are, but apparently it's just because the margin on the actual Switch is minuscule. Like, they make, if anything, there's really good evidence to say that they lose money every Switch that they sell. So at that point, I'm kind of like, well, I appreciate it so much, I'm willing to buy some extra accessories because, you know, I appreciate it. More Luke vlogs. Yes, everybody's asking for more vlogs. Yeah, we could do that. I am optimistic, or I would love to. Vlogs are one of those interesting things. Like, and I'll say this. So, like, I enjoy vlogging. I enjoy doing that sort of thing. But let me show you that, like, the camera that I'm currently using and that I used for the last few vlogs. this, come here. So this is a 70D, which I like. It's nice. I've got a few different lenses depending on what kind of video I'm shooting. And then a Shure lens hopper. Do I have the model number? Lens hopper VP83. Shotgun microphone up top, which is kind of fun because if you wiggle it, it doesn't pick up like any vibration. And I like it. It's a really solid camera. It does a really good job. But if you add like this thing is bulky. This thing weighs, I think, like 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds or something. It's yeah, 70D, my favorite breast size. You guys kill me. I love that. It's bulky. It's tough to carry around. Like, that's not something you throw in your pocket, which is the real tough thing with vlogging. Oh, the stream did buffer. It's okay. It's okay. So we'll try to do this, see if it buffers again. But like, I'm looking into getting maybe some smaller cameras, smaller stuff, and see if anything can be updated. But if you are interested in vlogs, that is good to know, because I enjoy making them. You know, it's not like I don't like making them. They're just time consuming. So if people want to watch them, I'll make them for sure. Yeah, no, I did see we dropped about 240 frames, which is probably like 5 seconds, or not 5 seconds. It's so what are we encoding at right now? 30. So that would be 10. So yeah, no, it dropped like 6-7 seconds. Yeah, no, so you guys are not crazy. It did buffer. I'm not sure why, but it did. Anyway, yeah, we could try vlogging a little bit more. That's good to know. Thank you guys. With all that said, it's time to wrap up. I'm worried that we're gonna drop some more frames, so let's rush. It is time for the final flush. Go ahead, start leaving your funny comments. I'm gonna pause the chat, take it off the screen. For those of you who are not familiar, the final flush is basically the segment where we all sit around and say goofy stuff to each other. You tell like a little one-liner joke, something like that. I read through them. If I crack up, I lose. If I don't crack up, I win. If I do crack up, you win. And whoever wins, wins the final flush. Hence the shirt on our merch store, which you should also check out in the description box, which says, I win the final flush, because that's what you do. What was the final flush celebration video we were going to watch? I don't remember. I don't remember what we were going to do. I don't remember. I don't remember what we were going to watch. I think we should celebrate the passing. Yeah, this'll do. This'll do just fine. We'll get this queued up. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. We're going to move the chat over to full screen. And then we're going to scroll up right here. Okay. And then if we go to final flush, I think I already did this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, good, good, good. I see I was proactive. I did what I was supposed to do. Isn't this great when I plan ahead? If I go down slowly, we got like 60 seconds. I always go longer than that, so I don't know why I even bother. Okay, so first of all, Howler's Moon, what does the sign on an out-of-business brothel say? Beat it, we're closed. That's pretty good. I hope you're proud of that one. That was pretty good. I like that. How is a woman like a condom? Both spend more time in your wallet than I could do. Sorry, I have a cold. Oh wow. Galfout is funny. Oh that's you. Yeah. What was David Bowie's last hit? Probably heroin. Yeah, that guy was kind of like a walking medicine cabinet. What do you call a deaf gynecologist? A lip reader. I didn't laugh. I'm taking this very, very seriously. Don't be racist. Racism is a crime, and crime is for black people. This is why if I wake up tomorrow and I'm demonetized, I won't be shocked. One day a boy wrote to Santa, "Send me a sister." Santa replied, "Send me your mother." I've heard that one. That one's good. My favorite sex position is the AFK. I splatter all over her while she screams and tries to get out of the car. Please change the other channel to Lukey Poo. I didn't. Okay, that was probably a laugh. I got distracted. I'm sorry. Hatham should have worn a yeah, well, it might have made the protagonist of that game more interesting. Why did Dr. Pepper come in a bottle? Because his wife died. Oh, no. Crap. I lost it. I lost it. Except when clowns are involved, I'm too stupid to make a joke. An invisible man married an invisible woman. The kids wear nothing to look at either. The past tense of William Shakespeare is Woody was Shakespeared. Woody was Shakespeared. I don't know. What can you say to a dog that you can't say to a woman? Come here. Yeah. Hello, sir. I have a joke. Luke releasing the Dishonored critique. I want Styx Hexen Hammer 666 plushie. I would also buy one, to be honest. That guy's awesome. Did you hear about the guy that sucked at his job? He got fired like a dog. Oh, yeah. When I was younger, I felt like a man trapped inside a woman's body. Then I was born. Oh, that's clever. I like that. Where did Johnny go after the explosion? Everywhere. These are good, guys. I'm proud of you. Okay, see, I always say I'm going to go for 60 seconds, and I go for like 2-3 minutes. What can I say? I last a long time. Let's go over here and celebrate with the one who shall not be named, apparently now, especially because H3H3 got in trouble for even talking about him. He is our Lord and Savior.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Ooh, Justin Bieber.
Should
we listen to that?
Frogs, friggin' frogs. It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay frogs. Won't you fight for your life? Frogs, friggin' frogs! I don't like a frog! Gay friggin' frogs! Frogs! Friggin' frog crap! Won't you fight the frogs? It's not funny! I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Frogs! Place point.
He is the hero we need, not the hero that we deserve. He is a magnificent, magnificent creature that we can only hope to emulate one day. I was gonna pull something else up, but I'm really slow, and I can't get the buttons to work. Let's see. I open it here. I save image. Is this okay? I don't know what it's doing. I don't know. But with all of that, that is placeboing. I always want to say placeboing. And they are phenomenal. They are great. And oh crap! You saw my oh no! Oh crap! Okay, you weren't supposed to see that. You weren't supposed to see what just happened. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You guys know my shame now, my secret shame, my secret sauce, and that is Justin Bieber all day, every day. Thank you for watching, everybody. I appreciate the crap out of all of you. I want to let you guys know you should join our Discord server if you haven't already. You should check out my Twitter. Even though I hate Twitter, I feel like I should use it just because everybody uses it. I'm being like peer pressured into Twitter. That's what's happening. As for everything else, we're rocking out. This is going to be a weekly thing once again, and I can't wait to continue and to do this every week with you guys. We're going to be streaming some games more often as well as we lead up to some of the larger releases, and we do have a critique inbound. I've had some issues technically with it, so it's included a lot of reshoots and re-recordings and stuff. Long story. We'll get into that after the video is released, because I want to keep that a secret. I don't want to spoil anything. Wink, wink. But as for everything else, yeah, check it out. Jump in the Discord. We'll talk about stuff after the show. Thank you for watching. I love you all. Bye-bye. Next Wednesday, every Wednesday afternoon, or depending on where you are, every Wednesday at the same time this one started up is when we'll be streaming. Thank you for coming out, guys. I love you all. Peace.